Hello again, everybody, and welcome to the Mike Francesa podcast, part of the Bet Rivers Network, as we come to you on this abbreviated holiday week. Tomorrow, our Football Friday show with all the picks and everything else, Francesa 5, all the football for your big holiday week. On this Tuesday, it's obviously a travel day for a lot of people, the end of the work week for most people. And, it's funny when we started in the business, now you're going back a lot of years. You're going back to the 80s, which is kind of ancient now to talk about the 80s. But when we started, say, Mike and the Mad Dog, our Wednesday Thanksgiving show was always considered the biggest drive time show of the year. The feeling was there were more people in the listening audience. And remember, drive time is because most people that are listening are in their cars. That's the idea. Okay. Morning, afternoon drive, especially afternoon drive. Um, the Wednesday was always considered, and there came a point where people started saying, I think Tuesday is bigger than Wednesday. I think Tuesday is bigger than Wednesday, and Wednesday's a day off for a lot of people. And I think that did change as we've expanded these weekends whenever we can. Whenever America can get a 5-day weekend, they want it. Okay. Whenever they can get it over Christmas, get it over New Year's, get it the right day calendar wise, and of course get it on Thanksgiving, with Black Friday now being a big deal, and being such a mega deal, and now Cyber Monday. So it's everything gets bigger and more stretched out and everything else. So that's why Tuesday has become as big as it is. And they say statistically that it is the biggest travel day of the holiday weekend is Tuesday. So you go by what they say statistically. Now we got some emails to get to. We'll get to those, and then we'll get to the topics of the day. And there are a bunch of them. Hal, who went down some roads I didn't think he would do, and I'm sure he wishes he didn't. We'll get to the Nimmo trade. We'll get to St. John's losing to Iowa State and where St. John's is at the moment, because it's almost like the people who care about college baseball want to take this team's temperature on a daily basis. Their expectations are so high that whenever, and they haven't gotten off to a great start. They've beaten up some really big. See, they've played teams that they're 30-point favorites against, and they're going to smack around. And they've played teams that they haven't played well against. They didn't play well in the Michigan exhibition. They got beat by the Alabama Guards badly, and now they got beat by Iowa State, which is a really good team. I have great respect for Iowa State. They're a tough, rugged team that can do everything. That's really put together very well. I like Iowa State a lot. I think they're an extremely good team. So I don't take a big deal from a 1-point loss to Iowa State. But St. John's has a lot of improvement to get to, and we'll get to. Let me get to the emails first and read through and see what you guys want to do. Remember, send your emails to Mike Francesa Podcast at gmail.com. Mike Francesa Podcast at gmail.com. I'll run through. First, let me tell you that you can sign up for the free Mike Francesa newsletter, and that's the keyword free. You'll get exclusive content, contests, other little goodies. Go to MikeFrancesAPodcast.com. Sign up. All you got to do is give me your email, and you're in. Now, Bet Rivers players who place a same-day parlay on of at least $10 on any NFL or NCAA qualifying game, and this weekend you got 1 million of them, will receive an entry into the weekly Squares game, which is a nice way to play along and have a little fun. Winning Squares can earn up to $50 bonus bets per entry. See the Bet Rivers app or website for details. All right, let's get to some emails. And as I said, send them to Mike Francis Podcast at gmail.com. The only one who has AOL in America anymore is me. I mean, that's it. That's what I'm told all the time. Oh, you have AOL. You have AOL. You're a dinosaur. You have AOL. I still have AOL. Wilson, who makes the most sense as the next Giant coach? No matter what coordinator, no matter what person you would bring in here who does not have bona fide credentials as an NFL head coach, which means been there, done that, it is without question a gamble. As I've told you many times, the most qualified coordinators of all time were abject failures as head coach. I mean, the most qualified assistant of all time was Bill Onsparger with the Miami Dolphins, and he was 7-24 as a Giant head coach, and he couldn't recruit you out of a burning building. Okay, but he was a great defensive coordinator. It does not mean you're going to be a good head coach. So if you're asking me who has the most makes the most sense, it's Mike McCarthy. I'm not the biggest Mike McCarthy fan. Why would you take Mike McCarthy? Well, a couple of reasons. Number one, he's won a Super Bowl, although no one who's ever won a Super Bowl has ever gone to another team and won a Super Bowl ever, ever. Not anybody, including the greats like Parcells. No one's ever done it. Now got a 600 win percentage lifetime. He's going to be able to put together a staff, which is very difficult for coaches who don't know their way around it as head coaches. Find it exceedingly difficult in this world now to put together a decent staff. Everybody protects their assistants. And he's good with young quarterbacks. He's developed a couple. So he makes sense from that regard. Do I love him? I don't love him as a game coach. Never have. But could I quibble if he was the guy? I don't think anybody could quibble. It's a solid choice. Now, it doesn't mean they're going to go there. Tom, do you trust Stearns at this point to run the Mets? As much as the next guy, yes. Have I been overly impressed by Stearns? No. I thought Stearns did a terrible job with the pitching staff, and you could see it coming a mile away. He left himself with no pitches. So last year's on him completely, 100%. Now, that doesn't mean he's not going to do a good job building this team. He's got a proper background. We'll see if he can do the job. He's also got incredible resources. He's got an owner that will write the check. And that's the biggest thing you can have is an owner that will give you the resources to win, and he has that. So that gives him a big leg up. We'll see. This is a very big year for Stearns. He just took the first step by trading a very popular Met. A lot of Met fans are upset about this. I would not be. But the key to the Nimmo payoff, well, I'm not going to pay it off yet. I'll get to it after the emails. All right. Bob, who would you value more going forward for the Mets, Alonso or Diaz? I think it will be very hard to replace Alonso, although I think Stearns wants to replace Alonso in the worst way. So I don't think Alonso is going to be back. I think if the Mets don't re-sign Diaz, the Yankees should run and sign Diaz as their closer. 100%. I killed Diaz the first year he was here. He was awful. You know what? I said, get him out of town. He's never going to do it. I was dead wrong. He did it, and he's done it more than once. He doesn't get hurt. He's not infallible. Nobody is. But he's the closest thing to a really good closer that you have in baseball now, that a guy you can trust who's going to make big plays and going to get the job done. I like him. And I think the Mets have to re-sign him. And if they don't, like I said, if I were the Yankees, I'd sprint to sign him, and I'd be trying to sign him anyway. So I would say Diaz first without any question. Phil, would you expect Skattebo to come back and play like he did as a rookie? Phil, he's almost, since he's been hurt, he's almost run his head through walls. I mean, this guy is going to only play one way. Now, I'm not going to tell you that he's not going to get hurt again because he might, but he's only got one speed. And that's what I loved about him. And I gave you two players on draft day that I loved, that I wanted. The first, someday he's going to be in the Hall of Fame. And that's Warren, who the Colts actually rolled around on the floor in the draft room when they actually saw that they were going to be able to get Warren with their pick. He has been brilliant in his rookie year. Brilliant. He's got 55 catches, 4 touchdowns. He lead blocks in key situations for Taylor. He catches everything. They throw him the ball on 4th down. He's in every play. Brilliant player. And the other was Skattebo, who I thought was a crazy value at 4. So those are my 2 guys this year. I try to find a guy every year. This year it was Warren and Skattebo. Warren, to me, was a no-brainer. I would have taken him. I would have taken him in the top 10. And Skattebo, I would have jumped on before by the end of the second round. Jason, if Jokic retires today, would he be a top 10 all-time NBA player? Right there. Right there. I'm not saying he makes my top 10, but he would absolutely be in the top 15. He is an amazing, amazing player. So if you put him in your top 10, I'm going to have a hard time arguing. As a matter of fact, I'm not going to argue at all. I might have him 11th or 12th or 13th. I might slip him ahead of some all-time great like Olajuwon or Moses Malone. I like my top 10. I don't like to move guys, but if you put him in the top 10, I have no argument. David, I thought you did a terrific job on the A-Rod documentary. Yeah, sure. That's what you tell everybody that. But can you talk a little bit about the process? Same process you hear. Listen, these documentaries, and there's a lot of them now because of what's going on with streaming, Netflix, Prime, all the companies out there, all looking for content like crazy. There's a lot of documentaries. There's a lot of sports documentaries. Okay, there's a lot of political documentaries. There's a lot of documentaries. There's a documentary for everybody. Now, so I get called a lot because that's what I do. I give opinions. I give them concise. I give them in headlines. I make the point quickly. So I'm a good fit for those things. I do a lot of them. I pick my, I don't. I turn a lot of them down now. I did the Red Sox one with the Barnacle guys, who I thought did a great job with it. I did another one. What else did I do? I did by A-Rod, then I did another one. I did one other one. I can't remember which one I did now, but I did another one. I can't remember what it is. Uh, but as far as the A-Rod one, they called. They said, "Can we come talk to you?" I said, "Sure." They find a location. They usually shoot it a couple of rooms down the hall, down in my what we call our viewing room, which is next to our bar room. That's where we usually shoot them. I was probably sat with those guys for 3 hours, maybe a little more, probably about 3 hours. It was a long one, and that was it. Then they, do what they do with it. That's it. So so they're all the same as far as that. You sit down, guy sits there, asks you a million questions, you answer into the camera, and that's it. What is a Francesa family Thanksgiving like? Well, I have a very small family. I only have one brother, my brother John, my older brother, and my wife Ro has an enormous family. Okay, I mean the immediate family is 60 people, so it's big. It's a big Thanksgiving, a really big Thanksgiving. But to me, what we always do is we go to Thanksgiving. Okay, it's still held at Ro's mother's house, even though Mrs. O is now gone, and we all miss her terribly. Um, but and there's a ton of people there, and there's kids, and there's everything, and all kinds of food and everything, and like that. And we watch football, and we eat, have Thanksgiving, like every other family in America. But it's a lot of people coming and going. And then we always have our own turkey and stuff because my favorite part of Thanksgiving is turkey sandwiches that I can have on Friday or Saturday watching the games. Okay. you can know that Saturday at 12 o'clock, I am there for Ohio State, Michigan. I will never miss Ohio State, Michigan. I will talk about that game on this week's Football Friday show. I can't wait for it. Obviously, Michigan's won 4 in a row, and Ohio State's undefeated and going in there and all of it. So it's, hey, it's classic again. As always, the best rivalry in all of sports, nothing even close. Nothing close. The passion is insane. I mean, they think about it every day of the year. They really do. Army Navy is a rivalry, but they have other things on their mind. Um, and they have great respect for each other. Ohio State and Michigan have great hatred for each other. I don't think they have great respect for each other. But like I said, turkey sandwiches is my favorite thing, even much more than the dinner, much more. And I like certain things. I like stuffing, I like cranberry, I like very nice rolls, and obviously turkey. So, I like my turkey sandwiches. I always have. Um, a favorite of mine, especially on Friday and Saturday, as we watch, wall to wall football. Now you got an NFL game on Black Friday now. You didn't used to, now you do. And now you have an NFL game at night. You used to have the Egg Bowl at night. Now you have the NFL game at night. Still have the Egg Bowl, the next day. But now you have, the big games. And I'll tell you, the NFL has great games on Thanksgiving. Packers, Lions, and a 3-team race for the division. And look at that game. And then how big did the Chiefs and Cowboys come up? The Chiefs come from behind, winning overtime against the Colts. The Cowboys stunned the world and me. Okay. I ended my podcast today. The Eagles were already up 14-0. I'm like, all right, goodbye, Cowboys. And they come back from 21-0 down to shock the world. And now people are actually believing in them for the playoffs. Well, they got to beat the Chiefs. That game has a chance to be the most watched Thanksgiving game in history. That's how big that game will be. It will come close to challenging the all-time record. We'll see if it does, but that's how big that game's going to be. Then you have Bengals and Ravens. Now, Lamar's hurt again. Now he's got a toe injury to go with his ankle injury to go with his knee injury, and he hasn't done anything. He's been a shadow of himself the last couple of weeks. But now Burrow's back, and they say he looks great. So that game gets interesting. So you got really good games on Thanksgiving to deal with. All right. Thanks for the emails. Now let's get to the topics of the day. Number one, Hal. What was Hal thinking? I am shocked. He always gets questions about the payroll. I'm even surprised he would say that he would like the payroll to be lower because that sends off bells and whistles. But to get into whining about a payment that actually saves him money in property taxes, I mean, the idea we don't necessarily, our revenues were 700. Now, depending on who you listen to, the Yankee revenues was anywhere between 707 million to 750 million. And this is after they try to hide revenues. Remember, how many holding companies do the Yankees have? Listen, I don't want to get into all this stuff, but let's be honest. Hal opened Pandora's box. Owners would rather jump out of a building than ever let anybody audit their books. They will never let anybody near their books. Why? Because they would sing a very, very interesting tune. Listen, you're talking about a franchise that George bought that was the greatest purchase this side of Manhattan, being bought for $24. He bought the Yankees, the New York Yankees, with other people's money and $165,000 in cash of his own money. Did you hear me right? $165,000. He bought the team for under $9 million when you take the fact that he kicked back parking garages that CBS wanted. He got the team the team now is worth anywhere from, now think about what he paid for it. Depending if you want to get into all the different things with the parking garages and everything else. Anywhere from 8 and change to $9 million for the franchise, okay? 9,000,000. They're now worth between 8 and 9,000,000,000. Their logo is one of the most important brands in the world and recognizable brands in the world. You know how many holding and different companies they have? The idea that the Yankees don't make money, I'm surprised he could actually, say it with a straight face. I mean, you're gonna plead poverty? Listen, you can plead a lot of things with the New York Yankees. Poverty can't be one of them. It cannot. Now, we know that Hal is much tighter with a buck, and we know that some things in baseball have changed, but the idea that they aren't tripping over the money they make is an absolute joke, and people will line up to bid for this franchise. Line up, and it could go to $10,000,000,000. And think about all the little tricks you can play, which I'm not even gonna get into all of them, okay? But you can basically do a lot of different things when you own something. All these different holding companies, all the expenses that you can run through the franchise and run loans against the franchise, divvy that money up, and then pay it off with revenues. I mean, there's 1,000 different things. Hey, the Yankees as anything but an absolute gold mine is a joke, a joke. Now, you don't wanna play the game on the Dodgers level? Fine, the Dodgers have made the Yankees look like an A-ball outfit. That's what's really bad, is they have allowed, and George never would have allowed this, they have allowed the Dodgers to take what the Yankees used to do. The Yankees, we are bigger, we are better, we spend more, we shop at Tiffany's, we buy the best, we are the best. That's how the Yankees acted. And we win, and we are the best. They don't act that way anymore. Now they're satisfied when they make the playoffs. Why? They're satisfied because their stadium is full and their signage is up and the sponsors are buying the signage and the luxury boxes are rented. That's how they judge the season. And they need the team to make the playoffs for any of that to happen. But there's only so much they're willing to spend now. And then to plead poverty and get upset about a payment that actually saves the money in property taxes. I mean, you got to be out of your mind. This was a real mistake by Hal to go down this road. He can't win. He can't win going down that road. There's no way to win going down that road. And no one is going to believe their dispute. Well, don't think just because our revenues are $700 million a year, while the Mets are 380 or 85 or whatever they turned out to be this year. And that's a big rise for them in revenues. Well, don't assume we're making money. But we don't want to get into all the different companies we have. Do we want to explain those? Well, how about this? I'll tell you what we'll do. We'll prove it once and for all. We'll just open the books up and bring in an independent auditor. Donkeys will fly before that ever happens. Okay. Before anybody ever sees the donkeys will fly before anybody ever sees those books. Okay. Take that to the bank. Take it to the bank. And the bank is someplace that the Yankees and their partners visit often. They can't win that fight. They cannot win that fight, and it's the worst kind of message to send to your fan base that was brought up on, "We buy the best, we are the best, we are the Yankees." Well, now Well, we don't mind being 2nd or 3rd and competing. Yes, yes, we've only won 1 championship in the last 25 years, but we try hard, and we all get along. And when Hal was asked about the team, he said, "I like that they all got along last year." Well, that's great, all right? Go back to '78 when they couldn't stand each other, but they beat the hell out of everybody else. Yankee fans would rather have that. They don't care if they get along. They want rings, okay? And when they're paying what they pay for parking, what they pay for a beer, what they pay for a hot dog, what they pay for a Yankee cap, and you see Yankee caps in every color under the rainbow, and you see Yankee merchandise all over the world. Go into any airport in the world, you'll see a Yankee cap. Anywhere. It's hard to plead poverty when you're the New York Yankees. Very, very hard. As a matter of fact, it's not where you want to go as the owner. Because you know what they're going to say, Hal? They're going to say, "Hey, Hal, if it's so tough, sell the team. They'll line up from here to kingdom come." But why would you? It's an investment that your father got for 9 million in other people's money, $165,000 in cash, and turned it into a $1 billion bonanza that keeps giving and giving and giving and is a worldwide brand. I mean, come on, come on. Hal really made a big mistake. It really, and I'm sure he tries to be cautious there. He made another mistake too. And wait a second, you made changes in the coaching staff because of all the problems on the base paths. Aaron Boone played that down all year and said it was overrated all year. So can you and your manager? But you said Aaron Boone was doing a great job. Can you guys get on the same page about this stuff? You're making changes in your staff because of the fact that you make too many mistakes, dumb, dumb mistakes, mental mistakes, mistakes on the base paths. When it's something your manager played down every single time it was brought up to him last year. Oh, duh. Something's got to give. It's almost like the Yankees have become this place where they don't make changes because everybody knows where the bodies are buried. Well, I know one thing. Everyone knows where the money's kept. All right, Nimmo. I know Nimmo bothered Met fans. Popular guy, very likable. Okay, very likable. Hustled, ran to first base, got clutch hits. Okay, lifetime Met. We all know the deal. Okay, now was he a great player? No, exceedingly streaky. Was he a great fielder? No. It was getting to the point where he was actually a negative defensively. Now, did he have to stay? No. But the key to this whole thing is, did he bring in a player that has a winning pedigree? Yes. On the downside of 35? Yes. A guy who can still will elevate your defense? Yes. Play smart baseball? Yes. Be good in the clubhouse? Yes. All stuff that the Mets thought was a negative last year. It was because they moved out good guys. Um, Nimmo wasn't automatically happy with everybody in the room. McNeil hasn't been happy with everybody in the room. We hear that all the time. People blamed Alonso, and I think that was really out of line. I don't think Alonso was a big part of that. The bottom line is, though, the Mets need change. The key is now, before you can react to the Nimmo deal, negatively or positively, explain to me what the outfield is going to look like. Show me the bat they're going to bring in. Same thing for Alonso. If you're going to let Alonso go, who's replacing that power? Now you have to replace Nimmo's bat, which you can do. You can bring in a better player defensively. You can bring in a better all-around player. You can bring in a better bat. We know the guys they're going after. Now, it seems like every team's answer is Tucker and Bellinger. Well, they all can't. Tucker and Bellinger can't go to 15 teams. Right? Yankee fans think Bellinger's coming back to them. I have no idea if he is or not. I don't think it's automatic. I don't think the Yankees are even going to be in the ballpark for Tucker. The Mets could be, and Tucker wants a ton of money. He's a better fit in Yankee Stadium. He's a lethal fit in Yankee Stadium. Lethal. I mean, that's a swing. Just like Schwarber would have been lethal years ago in Yankee Stadium. And don't bring Schwarber in now, please, because they already have 4 DHs. They don't need any more. But I wanted him years ago because that was a perfect swing for Yankee Stadium. Tucker's a perfect swing for Yankee Stadium. But I don't think they're going to pay him. So I don't think you can react to the Nimmo until we see what it looks like. Which one of these young guys stay? I figure McNeil's gone. Which one of the young guys are going to go? Some of them are going to go. What's going to happen with Alonso? What's going to happen in the outfield? I want to see what they wind up with. And then I'll see whether they are plus or minus. But I'll tell you this, they better not lose Diaz. That will be a loss that they cannot fix. That will be a loss that will haunt them all year. And if I were the Yankees, I'd be all over them. All over them. Now to St. John's. The expectations have been rampant, and you can blame Patino for this. Listen, Patino is not shy about telling people all summer that he had a championship team. Even went so far as to compare this to his Kentucky team, which was one of the great champion teams of all time. The pros coming in and out of the lineup every day, every minute. A lot is expected. The pieces don't fit yet. I think these are the games you want to play. The Big East is going to be tough. I think Villanova is going to be improved. I think UConn thinks they have a team that can compete with or beat St. John's. We'll see if that's true. Their games are going to be classics. Anything short of a Final Four trip will be a big disappointment for St. John's. I don't think there's any question about it. But it's November. Play these games now. Losing a game to Iowa State because you didn't get a couple of offensive rebounds that you needed to secure. You let Iowa State get a couple of boards that really hurt you. Hey, it's not that big a deal. Now, was that a tough game? Yes. Did it go back and forth? Yes. It was the exact game I expected. 2 very evenly matched teams. Iowa State's a really good team. Well coached, really good. Tino will make these guys better, but I'm not worried about him improving their ability to shoot a 3, which he will. Sellers is going to be the guy as a 3-point shooter. He could be really a lethal 3-point shooter, and he's got to understand what his role is going to be. I think development of roles is critical with this team. I see some very, very interesting pieces. I think Mitchell's an incredibly interesting piece. I'm not sure exactly how Jackson's going to fit in. Just like it felt last year, Smith had trouble fitting in all the time. I think Jackson worries me a little bit. Obviously, they have bona fide guys who know their way around the Big East and are veteran guys inside in obviously Zuby and in Hopkins. They need time. There'll probably be a couple more tough losses along the way before they begin their ascent. And remember, they were preseason top 5. And they were getting talked about in that way. Now, it's a ways back to top 5 because you got some teams up there that aren't going to lose a lot of games, like Duke and Purdue and Houston. But that doesn't matter right now. It's a long way to late February, early March. That's when your team has to be complete. Let this unfold that way. Is there promise? Yes. I would say this: they were not as game ready as I thought they would be coming out of the box this year. I thought that they had more easily definable roles than they did last year when really they couldn't shoot. This team can shoot. It just hasn't showed you a lot of that yet. I haven't seen real good offensive minutes where I'd say that was a terrific 10 offensive minutes from St. John's. The first time I see that, it'd be nice to see. It might not come for a while. Let this unfold, but you're going to have to be a little patient. And if that means you're a little disappointed early on, so what? This is a sport that cashes the tickets in March. Doesn't cash them in November. Doesn't cash them in December. Doesn't cash them in January. Cashes them in March. March matters. Lose a couple of games now and find your way into the final 8 with a chance to go to the final 4. That's what you're bargaining for. That's what you're looking for. This year, though, the expectations will be higher. There's no question about it. But Patino has set that up, and I think he wants that. And give him a lot of credit for this. He has put St. John's back on the map in a very, very big way. And he was starting from really low ground, but they have put the program very, very much back on, with obviously the help of Mike Rapoli's money and support, and also Patino's ability to find players, which are there if you have the money, but also put a team together. Listen, there are a few better coaches. Whether you love Patino, don't like him, don't like his act, do like his act, do like his history, doesn't make any difference. He's one of the great coaches ever. Man can flat out coach. That's never an issue. They are never in a situation where they are not well armed on the bench. That is never an issue. He is always right there and in the game in every way, and usually 3 steps ahead. That's not an issue. Team has to develop roles better. And players have to understand what those roles are, because teams without definitive roles, I think, lack. I do. I think it's important that you have that. It just can't be a collection of guys that you roll out there. Look what's going on with Kentucky right now. They admit they brought in too many of the same guys and they all want to start and they're all a mess. You need role players. You need guys who are starters, guys who understand what their role is going to be off the bench and what their jobs are. That's how you win. We'll see you tomorrow.